Who is David Walker? David Walker was born in 1785 in Wilmington, North Carolina, and died in Boston, Massachusetts on August 6, 1830. David Walker was never enslaved. He was born to a free mother and an enslaved father. Walker wrote the book Appeal to the Colored Citizens of the World. He wrote the book in 1829 to call out the hypocrisy of America. The book was for both free African Americans and enslaved people. He was known to be an activist and a writer advocating against the slavery African Americans had to endure. Not only did he advocate against slavery, but he also called the slaves to take resistance. He wanted slaves to fight for their freedom. Walker was in the Massachusetts General Colored Association, the first black abolitionist organization. The group aimed to abolish slavery and end discrimination. What did he do? David Walker's book was published in 1829. His goal was for slavery to be abolished and for black Americans to have hope that one day change would come. The book appealed to the colored citizens, called for a revolt against slave owners. Walker wanted African Americans to resist slavery and racism. This effort has been called one of the boldest and most extensive plans to empower slaves ever conceived in the U.S. before the Civil War. "Am I not a man and a brother?" was a phrase David Walker used in his writings and speeches. It became a prominent anti-symbol and was used in much propaganda and merchandise to spread this idea that African Americans are also human. They should not be treated less than simply because of their color. Where, why? September 28, 1829, the Appeal to the Colored Citizens of the World was written. It was widely read by 1830. It was published in Boston, Massachusetts. The Appeal to the Colored Citizens was written to encourage slaves to fight for their freedom and free African Americans to fight for their equality. In other words, it was written to unite the power of African American people. Did it hurt or did it help? The appeal to the colored citizens both hurt and helped the cause of abolition. The appeal brought attention to the abuses and inequalities of slavery and the responsibility of individuals to act according to religious and political principles. The book shocked the Americans' conscience as it called out their hypocrisy, given the fact that most Americans were both Christian and had slaves. The Christian belief contradicted the ways Americans would treat their slaves. His appeal also resulted in the growing fear of slave owners. They were worried about slave uprising. And David Walker's book caused controversy in the South, which caused fear. Slave owners didn't want uprising to be formed because of his book. The mayor of Savannah, Georgia, wanted the mayor of Boston, Harrison Gray Otis, to investigate Walker. Otis also sided with the mayor of Savannah because their point of view was that the untrue and defamation of character. It was inflammatory in their eyes. Otis, however, told the mayor of Savannah that he couldn't do anything. Abolitionists such as William Lloyd Garrison and Frederick Douglass took inspiration from David Walker's book. They stated that David's appeal startled the land like Trump of coming judgment. David Walker's cause of death. Just 5 years after he arrived in Boston, Walker died in the summer of 1830. Though rumors suggested that he had been poisoned, Walker died a natural death from tuberculosis, as listed in his death record. The disease was prevalent, and Walker's only daughter, Lydia Ann, had died from it the week before Walker himself died. Walker was buried in a South Boston cemetery for blacks. His prominent grave site remains unmarked. Walker's legacy. Historians considered David Walker a major abolitionist and inspirational figure in American history. The Library of Congress had an exhibit, Free Blacks in the Antebellum Period, which noted Walker's significance, along with that other key black abolitionists. Free people of color like Richard Allen, Frederick Douglass, Sophronia Truth, David Walker, and Prince Hall earned national reputations for themselves by writing, speaking, organizing, and advocating on behalf of their enslaved compatriots. The National Park Service has walking tours developed for the Boston African American National Historic Site, including the Black Beacon Hill community. The comprehensive narratives include discussion of David Walker, who was integral to the black neighborhood and city activists. And what else? David Walker's writing was so inspiring and controversial that the entire South banned anything written by him. David Walker joined the Methodist May Street Church and became a close associate of its active minister, Rev. Samuel Snowden.